Be me, trans guy, been on T for 5 years now, finally living as myself, no regrets about transitioning. But holy shit, nobody prepared me for this. Let me get one thing straight right off the bat. I'm not a feminist. Never was, never will be. I know that's going to piss some people off, but I don't care. This is my story, my experience, my perspective. Not asking anyone to agree, just telling it like I see it. Before I transitioned, I had this whole mental image of what being a guy would be like. I thought it would be easier in a lot of ways. I thought male privilege was this golden ticket everyone kept talking about. Spoiler alert, it's not. Been living as a man for years now, and I can say with complete honesty, from my personal experience, men's lives are so much more difficult than I ever could have imagined, and I'm going to explain why. First few months on T were amazing. Voice dropping, facial hair coming in, passing consistently. I felt like I was finally becoming who I was meant to be. But then reality started hitting different. First thing I noticed, nobody gives a shit about you anymore. Like, at all. When I presented as female, people would at least pretend to care. Strangers would smile, hold doors, ask if I was okay, if I looked upset. Now, crickets. I could be bleeding out on the sidewalk and people would step over me. And before anyone starts with the toxic masculinity bullshit, this isn't about masculinity being toxic. This is about society genuinely not caring if men live or die. That's my observation, my experience. Tried to talk about feeling isolated once. Got told to man up. And not by some boomer dude, by a fucking progressive 20-something. The same people who preach about mental health and vulnerability, turns out that only applies if you're not a man. You got a job in my field about a year after I started passing consistently. Same industry I worked in before, similar role. Thought I'd finally get that male privilege everyone talks about. Wrong. The expectations are fucking insane. Before transition, if I did my job adequately, I got praised. Now, adequate is seen as lazy. I have to go above and beyond just to be considered doing my job. Nobody pats me on the back anymore. Nobody congratulates me for meeting basic deadlines. I'm just expected to perform, constantly, without recognition. And the expendability. Holy shit, the expendability. Layoffs come around. Guys are first on the chopping block. No one thinks twice about it. We had a round of cuts at my company. 80% men let go. Nobody questioned it. Nobody wrote articles about it. But you can bet if it was reversed, there'd be a fucking investigation. Work longer hours now too. Because if I don't, I'm seen as uncommitted. Before, leaving at 5 p.m. was normal. Now, if I'm not staying late, I'm not a team player. Watched a coworker get passed over for promotion because he had to leave on time to pick up his kid. His commitment was questioned. Meanwhile, before transition, having family obligations was seen as endearing. The pressure to perform is relentless. Every single day, I have to prove my worth. There's no grace period, no benefit of the doubt. Fuck up once and you're remembered for it forever. Do great work for months and it's forgotten by Friday. The feminist lie. Okay, here's where I'm gonna really piss people off. Modern feminism is a fucking scam. From my perspective, based on what I've lived through, it's not about equality, it's about advantage. When I was perceived as female, I had feminist friends. They'd go on and on about the patriarchy, about male privilege, about how hard women have it. I believed it. I really did. Now, I'm on this side, and I can see it's bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Feminism today isn't about equal rights. Women already have equal rights. What modern feminism wants is all the benefits of being male, which are fewer than advertised, without any of the drawbacks. They want the option to be providers without the expectation. They want to be leaders without being held to the same standards. They want protection without admitting they want protection. And the thing that really gets me? Feminists will talk all day about toxic masculinity, but they have no fucking clue what it's actually like to be a man. They theorize from the outside. They've never lived it. I have. Toxic masculinity isn't men being toxic. It's the toxic expectations placed on men. By everyone, including feminists. Be strong, but vulnerable. Be confident, but humble. Be ambitious, but not threatening. Be a provider, but don't expect anything in return. Be a protector, but don't be violent. Be emotional, but not weak. It's a fucking impossible standard. And feminism? It makes it worse. Because now, on top of all the traditional expectations, you've got this whole new layer of don't be toxic, which just means meet all male expectations while also apologizing for being male. I watched feminist friends dismiss men's issues constantly. Homelessness, mostly men, don't care. Suicide, mostly men. Toxic masculinity, their own fault. Workplace deaths, mostly men. Well, they choose dangerous jobs. Criminal sentencing disparity. Men get way longer sentences. They must commit worse crimes. Every single issue gets dismissed or blamed on men themselves. It's the most insane victim blaming I've ever seen. But it's socially acceptable because the victims are men. What about dating and relationships? Oh boy. Let's talk about dating as a man. Because this might be where the difficulty is most obvious. The expectations are insane. I have to initiate everything, plan everything, pay for everything, at least at first, and often ongoing. Be interesting, be funny, be confident, but also be sensitive and emotionally available. But not too emotional, but also vulnerable enough to be real. It's fucking exhausting. Before transition, dating was easy. Relatively speaking. I could be shy, and it was cute. I could be awkward, and it was endearing. I could suggest splitting the bill, and it was progressive. Now, if I'm shy, I'm a pussy. If I'm awkward, I'm a creep. If I suggest splitting the bill, I'm cheap. And the constant vetting. Every interaction is a test I didn't know I was taking. Say the wrong thing? Ghosted. Come on, too strong? Creep. Not strong enough? Not interested. There's no winning, just degrees of losing. Tried online dating for a while. What a fucking nightmare. Women will list out demands like they're ordering from Amazon. Must be 6 feet plus. I'm 5'8", thanks genetics. Must make 6 figures. Must be fit, must be funny, must have your shit together. Meanwhile, their profile is 3 blurry photos and IDGA, just ask. And if you point out this disparity, you're an incel, you're bitter, you're mad, you can't get laid. No. I'm frustrated that the standards are completely unbalanced. From my experience, my perspective, the pressure to perform extends to relationships. 2. I'm expected to be the emotional rock, the problem solver, the provider, even in 2024. My feelings are valid right up until they're inconvenient. Then I need to be a man about it. Had a girlfriend for a while after transition. She was big into feminism, talked about equality constantly. But when her car broke down, I was expected to fix it. When there was a scary noise at night, I was expected to check it out. When bills were tight, I was expected to pick up extra shifts. Equality meant she got to choose when to be equal. I didn't get that choice. Emotional isolation. This is the part that really gets me. The complete and total emotional isolation of being a man. I thought I understood loneliness before. I had no fucking clue. As a man, you're emotionally on an island, and the island is surrounded by sharks. And the sharks are everyone telling you to swim to them for help. But when you do, they eat you alive. Tried to open up to friends about struggling. Guy, friends, that sucks, bro. Want to get a beer? Female friends. Well, have you tried therapy? Therapist. Sounds like you need to work on your masculine identity issues. No. I need someone to just listen. But nobody wants to hear it. Male problems are boring. Male feelings are uncomfortable. Male struggles are either invisible or deserved. We're expected to carry everything. Process nothing. And if we crack under the pressure, it's our own fault for not being strong enough. I've had days where I felt completely hopeless, utterly alone. Like I could disappear and nobody would notice for weeks. And you know what? I'm probably right. And modern feminism? They'll talk about men's mental health during Men's Mental Health Month. Give it some lip service. Then go right back to talking about the patriarchy, about male privilege, about how men are the problem. From where I'm standing, having lived both sides, men aren't the problem. Men are suffering, and nobody gives a single fuck. Let's talk about bodies for a second, because this is another area where the difficulty of being a man smacked me in the face. I have to be fit, not like healthy fit, like gym rat fit. If I'm not, I'm invisible, or I'm a slob. Before transition, my body was fine as it was. All bodies are beautiful, remember? Now, my body is a project. It's always in progress, never finished. I'm too skinny, or I'm too fat. I'm not muscular enough. My jawline isn't sharp enough. My frame isn't big enough. And I know some of this is dysphoria related, but a lot of it is just the expectations placed on men. Women can have body positivity movements. Men, hit the gym, fatty. The amount of time, money, and energy I have to put into my appearance just to be considered average is insane. And before some smartass says it, yes, women deal with beauty standards too. But this is my story about my experience. And from my side, the male standards are about utility and capability. I have to look like I can, protect, provide, perform. It's not about being pretty. It's about being physically adequate for my role. And if I'm not, I'm failing at being a man. There's no body positivity for men. There's no dad bod appreciation that's genuine. It's all quietly settling or making do. I spend more time in the gym now than I ever did before. Not because I want to, because I have to. To be seen, to be respected, to be considered, in the disposability. Here's the thing that really fucked me up. The realization of just how disposable men are. How disposable I am now. Society has no problem throwing men away. We're expendable by design. Our value is in what we provide, not in our existence. Homeless population? Mostly men. Step over them. Workplace deaths? Mostly men. Price of doing business. War casualties? Men. That's just how it is. Criminal justice system destroys men's lives? I should have thought about that before committing crimes, even though women get way lighter sentences for the same. Nobody marches for men. Nobody writes articles about men's issues, except to blame men. Nobody gives a shit if we suffer, because we're supposed to be able to handle it. I'm a utility now. I'm a tool. I have value as long as I'm useful. The moment I'm not, replaced, forgotten, discarded. And this isn't me being dramatic. This is what I've observed, what I've experienced. Got injured last year. Couldn't work for a month. You know how many people checked on me? 2. My mum and my brother. That's it. Friends? Nah. Co-workers? Nope. Society? Doesn't give a fuck. Compare that to when my female co-worker had a medical issue. Flowers, cards, meal trains, constant check-ins, and she was out for 2 weeks and got more support than I've gotten in years. Men are disposable. We're the buffer between society and consequences. We're supposed to take the hits, absorb the damage, and keep going. And if we can't, next man up. Let me talk about accountability for a minute, because this is where I really started seeing the bullshit. As a man, I'm accountable for everything. My success? I earned it, but also I had privilege. My failure? Completely my fault. No excuses. There's no systemic anything when I fail. There's no implicit bias in my favor. There's just me, fucking up, being inadequate. Every mistake I make is magnified. Every flaw is a moral failing. Every struggle is because I'm not trying hard enough. The same action has different consequences based on gender. I've seen it firsthand. Before transition, showing up late, she must have had a rough morning. Now, he's unprofessional and unreliable. Before transition, being assertive, She knows what she wants. Good for her. Now, he's aggressive and difficult to work with. The interpretation of identical behavior is completely different, and always less charitable as a man. And modern feminism loves to talk about holding men accountable, but it's never about actual accountability. It's about collective guilt. I'm supposed to answer for what other men do. I'm supposed to apologize for being male. I'm supposed to acknowledge my privilege. What privilege? I'm still waiting for it. Meanwhile, actual accountability, like holding individuals responsible for their individual actions, regardless of gender, is misogyny. I'm not saying women aren't held accountable. I'm saying from my experience, my observation, the standards are different. And the standard for men is harsher, less forgiving, more permanent. The loneliness. Coming back to this because it deserves its own section. The loneliness of being a man is profound. I can be in a room full of people and feel completely alone because nobody actually sees me. They see what I can do for them. They see my utility. They don't see me. Friendship as a man is different. It's activity-based, not emotion-based. We don't talk about feelings. We don't have deep conversations. We just exist near each other and call it friendship. And that's nice. Sometimes. But sometimes, I just want someone to ask how I'm really doing, and actually wait for an answer. Actually care about the answer. But that doesn't happen, because men don't do that. And women don't do that for men. So, I'm just alone with my thoughts. Alone with my struggles. Alone with everything. The isolation is crushing sometimes. And I can't talk about it, because talking about it makes me weak. And weak men are disgusting to everyone. This is why men die younger, I think. We're just so fucking tired of being alone while surrounded by people. Tired of carrying everything with no help. Tired of being strong when we want to fall apart. Tired of being the foundation everyone stands on while we're crumbling. And before someone says, go to therapy, I do go to therapy. You know what my therapist says? You need to build a support network. Oh, cool. Let me just go to the support network store. They're sold out? Shocking. This is why I'm not a feminist. So let me be absolutely clear about why I'm not a feminist. Why I don't support feminism in any form. Especially modern feminism. Feminism had a purpose once, maybe. But now, it's a supremacy movement hiding behind equality rhetoric. From my observation, my experience. Modern feminism is about maintaining advantages while claiming victimhood. It's about having your cake and eating it too. It's about choice without consequence, power without responsibility, benefit without cost, and it's about keeping men in their place, which is beneath, supporting, providing, and shutting up. Feminists will say they want to dismantle gender roles, but only the ones that disadvantage women, the ones that disadvantage men, those are fine, actually. Those are toxic masculinity, which is somehow men's fault and men's job to fix. Feminists will say they care about men's issues, but only as a talking point, only as a, see, we care about everyone, but there's no action, no actual support, just lip service. And if men try to organize, try to talk about their issues, they're threatened, they're MRAS, they're incels, they're dangerous. God forbid men actually advocate for themselves. Feminism has institutional power now. It's in universities, corporations, government, and what has it done for equality? It's created more division, more resentment, more inequality, just in the other direction. And I'm supposed to support this? I'm supposed to march for a movement that sees me as either an oppressor or a traitor? Fuck that. I'm not a feminist, because feminism doesn't give a shit about me, or any man, except as tools or obstacles. If I could go back and talk to myself before transition, I wouldn't tell myself not to do it. Transitioning was right for me. I don't regret it, but I would tell myself that it's going to be so much harder than you think, not in the ways you expect. not the medical stuff or the social transition, the actual living as a man. I'd tell myself that you're going to be lonely, really, truly lonely, in a way you've never experienced. I'd tell myself that nobody is going to care about you anymore, not in the way they did before. You're going to be invisible and hypervisible at the same time. Invisible when you need help. Hypervisible when you fuck up. I'd tell myself that male privilege is a myth, or at least it's so much more complicated than anyone admits. Sure, maybe people take me more seriously in some contexts, but the cost of that is everything else. I'd tell myself that you're going to be tired, bone tired, soul tired, tired of performing, tired of providing, tired of pretending you're okay. I'd tell myself that feminism lied to you, about almost everything, about what it's like to be a man, about what men have, about what men are. I'd tell myself to build a support system now, because you're going to need it, and it's going to be almost impossible to build later. I'd tell myself that being a man is hard, harder than being a woman, at least in my experience, in ways that nobody talks about, in ways that you're not allowed to talk about. The things I can't say. There's so much I can't say in regular life. So many observations I've made that would get me crucified. This is one of the only places I can be honest. I can't say that my life was easier before transition in many ways, because that sounds like I regret transitioning. You don't. But it was easier in a lot of practical, day-to-day ways. I can't say that women have advantages, even though I've seen them, lived them, experienced both sides, because that's misogyny. I can't say that men are struggling, that we're suffering, that we need help, because that's derailing, or male tears, or not all men, used unironically as a dismissal. I can't say that feminism is harmful, even though I've seen the harm, felt the harm, because feminism is sacred. Criticism is blasphemy. I can't say any of this in real life, so I say it here, anonymously, because this is the only safe space for these thoughts. And that should tell you something, that a man can't talk about men's issues, can't critique feminism, can't share his honest experience without fear of social destruction. That's not equality. That's not progress. That's oppression. With better PR, every single day is a performance. I'm performing masculinity, performing competence, performing strength, performing confidence. I don't feel, and I can't ever drop the act, because the moment I do, I'm failing. Failing at being a man. Failing at being a person. Just failing. The pressure is constant and relentless. Be better. Be stronger. Be more. Produce more. Earn more. Do more. Never complain. Never explain. Never show weakness. I'm so fucking tired. But I can't be tired. Because tired men are useless. And useless men are discarded. So I keep going. Keep performing. Keep pretending. And everyone around me has no idea. Because I'm good at the performance now. I've had to be. But inside, I'm screaming. I'm drowning. I'm falling apart. And I can't tell anyone. Because men don't do that. And the people who say men should do that, they don't actually want to hear it. They want the performance of vulnerability, not the reality of it. So here's the bottom line. From my personal experience, having lived on both sides of this, being a man is harder. I'm not saying women don't have challenges. I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about men, about my experience as a man. The expectations are higher. The support is lower. The consequences are harsher. The loneliness is deeper. The expendability is real. The pressure is constant. And society doesn't give a fuck. Feminism doesn't give a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. Men are supposed to just handle it. Deal with it. Man up, shut up. And we do. Because what choice do we have? But it's killing us. Literally killing us. and nobody cares. I transitioned to be myself, to be authentic, to live as who I really am. And I don't regret that, but I won't lie and say it's been easier. I won't pretend male privilege saved me. I won't support feminism just because I'm supposed to. I'm a man. I'm a trans man. And I'm not a feminist, because feminism doesn't represent reality, at least not the reality I'm living.